Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Long time no see. Uh, it is the 11th workshop of this hackathon. Exciting. It's been like over a week now. I hope you guys have made like lots of progress and lots of advancement. Already made you ID, already a project through this hackathon. Today, we had the chance to welcome Laszlo, who's been building since its debut Brick. And yeah, today he will give us workshops on how you can leverage Brick NFT and ecosystem, because they've been OG as well in Stocknet, so I'm sure he'll be as well quite a help if you have Stocknet related question. So yeah, the scene is yours, Laszlo, and thanks for coming today.
Hey, thanks Ada for the introduction. So yeah, what I'm going to do is a short overview of Brick as a whole in case people are interested and don't know about the project, then dive deeper into some of the technical aspects. Then if there are questions, I'll answer the questions, and then I'm probably going to freestyle some other things that might be interesting if people want to dig deeper into the protocol. So let me share my screen. Yes. Let me just check if that works. Yes. Hi. So we're Brick video. So I'm able to answer all your technical questions. What is Brick? Brick is an NFT protocol. Our core ideas is that NFTs are objects. They should be composable. They should be interoperable. And to do that, we're doing something that's quite similar to Lego. So the basic idea is that we have bricks, which are ERC 1155 compatible building blocks stored on chain. With bricks, you can create NFTs. You can create NFTs, which are ERC 721s, regular NFTs. They're made out of bricks. And you can also disassemble your bricks, and then you can make something different with your original set. So the way people usually interact with it is through the website. We have this tab, so you can just build things using Brick directly. Works nicely, and you can just mint your NFTs and buy bricks nowadays, because we have now the ability to buy bricks directly on the website. And what we've been studying is mostly NFT collections made out of bricks. So we have two of them right now. The first one, which is shown here, is Starknet Planet. So that's the first official theme that we created for Brick. Here, the idea was that we sold boxes. Inside those boxes, you had bricks and you had an instruction booklet, and you could follow the instructions in the booklet to make the official NFT out of bricks. And you had some options for customization. You could change some colors and things like that. So we sold these in November, and they sold out pretty quickly. And then since February, we've been doing ducks everywhere with Outsompton. So initially it was 200 ducks that are like you can see on the right here. So basically just NFT PFPs. You can use as profile pictures, and nowadays there's a bit more than 200 of them. He's still releasing one every 2 days on auction. So there's the two collections that we've done so far. And very recently we did a marketing campaign with Argent, where people had to buy some bricks and make their Explorer NFT. So a lot of people also did that. It was quite. The big question in this workshop will actually be, well, how does this all actually work? And it's very simple. So this is the part of everything that I'm not going to go into too much detail in. This, like all of the big sim, it is not actually that simple. But at its core, what we wanted to do was on-chain construction. And so we wanted a few different things for the ecosystem. The first thing was that transferring the NFT to somebody else should transfer the bricks alongside it. Otherwise, you kind of break the metaphor that you have an actual object made out of bricks. So that was one of the things that we wanted to do. We wanted NFTs to have characteristics that you could claim on chain. So we wanted our NFTs to have customizable traits, basically. And we needed a way to identify the original NFTs made by our artists. So like collections I mentioned earlier, Starnet Planet and Dogs Everywhere. And the way we did that in a few ways. So first, transferring the NFT should transfer the bricks alongside it. So the idea here is pretty simple. The most efficient option is to transfer the bricks to the NFT itself. So we treat our brick NFTs, our sets, as if they were wallets. They own the bricks that they're made of. This is transparent on StartNet because we have native account abstraction. So everything is a contract and it doesn't look too weird if our NFTs, which are part of the contract, also own things. That means there's no additional cost when you transfer bricks because you just transfer the set and the bricks are owned by the sets. So if you disassemble it, you get the bricks back. So I have a simple three-step scheme here. Let's say I start with 345 bricks. I assemble a set. I transfer it to Sealed. Let's say that set was made out of 250 bricks. Well, you can see that the ownership of bricks, I only own 95 bricks. The set itself owns 250 bricks. And if Seal were to disassemble that set, well, he would own 250 bricks and I would still own 95 bricks. And so effectively, I've transferred him the bricks despite only transferring the NFT. And that's basically how it works. And of course, both of us could then assemble new sets with our bricks. So 2, on-chain construction. NFTs should have characteristics that you can claim on-chain. So what we have here is the most complicated part of the whole ecosystem and is the part that would be interesting for people that want to build on top of Brick, mostly. It's what we call the attribute registry. So basically, this is a contract that holds the characteristics or the attributes or the traits of our NFTs. And basically, when you mint a new NFT with Brick, the attributes registry contract verifies that you pass the preconditions for this. And if you do pass the preconditions for this, then it grants you the correct traits. So I'll get back into this into more details recently, in the next slides, but the basic idea is that it's possible to mint certain rare attributes only if you fit the criteria of that rare attribute. And so this allows us to do fancy things fully on-chain. And one of the things that this allows us to do is to identify the original NFTs made by our artists. So basically what we had in the StartNet Planet collection and also in the Dogs Everywhere collection were these booklets. So these instruction booklets on how to make the thing that you bought. Those were NFTs as well. They were 1155. And that contract has a function to check that the 3D shape that the user has built does indeed match what the booklet should look like when it's built. And it allows some customization. So if you look here, the booklet shows a dog with a blue back. And on the right here is one of the NFTs I minted myself. This one has some yellow and red colors on the back because we allowed customization of this area and users could choose the color of the bricks there, but you still had to build the right 3D shape to get the correct trait and the StartNet Planet collection. So yeah, the crux of it is the assemble function, the minting process for NFTs. You basically transfer the brick, you check the ownership of the booklets, you check the 3D shape, and then we allow you to create the NFT. Just gonna check. No questions so far. Great. So the set assembly function, this is going to be the Cairo 0 code because we haven't fully finished porting our code base to Cairo 1 that I will show you later where that is so far. So it's quite a lot of attributes, quite a lot of arguments because we pass a lot of data to the minting function. So obviously we like a regular NFT, we have an owner. When we're minting the NFT, that's going to be the guy who owns the new NFT. We have what I call the token ID hint, which is kind of the token ID, except I can't let people choose their token ID because then we'd get collisions. So we hash it. But yeah, we basically pass some random bits to create the token ID on chain. Then we have the name of the NFT and the description of the NFT, which are passed on chain as well during the call, so that the call data gets stored on chain and the NFT can be completely reconstructed from on-chain data. And then we have the 3D shape. So 3 different attributes for that for technical reasons. The list of briqs, the list of briq NFTs. I'll get back to that. And then the full 3D shape, the shape length and shape item thing, which I'll describe in some more detail in the coming slides. So this is like the actual 3D matrix. You get the position of all the briqs and the colors and everything. And then the last arguments are the attributes. So this is how you request attributes. So when you're minting a regular set, you don't necessarily request attributes, but when you're minting a set from one of the official collections, Ducks Everywhere, or the Starlit Planet collection, well, one of the attributes you ask for is the official collection trait, and that goes into that final parameter. So this is ultimately fairly straightforward. It's just a lot of data. And the idea is that this makes our NFTs fully on-chain. So to try and get into a complete example, does briq have templates for creating these NFTs? Answering question quickly. Yes, we do have, I mean, essentially all of the booklets are templates. I'll show you on the website just after the presentation, but we have like instructions that you can follow to make things. So one of the interesting things we do with the attribute system is that we actually hash. So one thing we'd like to do, let me get back a little. One thing we'd like to do at the moment is store the 3D shape on chain. But that would be super expensive at the moment. So until Starknet gets validation and we can have cheaper storage, we don't store the full shape. We only store the hash of the full shape. What that allows us to do is that if you then want to, at a later point, you can send back the same shape and hash it again and check that the hash matches. And if the hash matches, that means you've sent the same shape and you can recreate the shape that way. So let's say you have this small L-shaped Tetris kind of piece. You have 4 briqs, the colors white, gray, white, yellow, material. Haven't mentioned material, but we have different briqs of different materials potentially. So let's say these are all wood material. And then you have the 3D coordinates. These are all stored as 2 fields, so we're bit packing a little bit in the contract. One field element for the color, the NFT, whether it's an NFT briq or not, and the material of the briq, and one field element for the 3D coordinates XYZ. And so that ends up looking something like this. So this like Haskai for the color. This is material 1, and then the positions are encoded as a weird specific encoding, which is not, I think it's not two's complement. I wanted it to be monotonously increasing for sorting reasons, for technical reasons, basically. So once we have that representation that we send as this is basically on the bottom right, that's basically what we get for the call data that we saw here for shape length and shape item. And that's this struct right here. And then when we call the assembly, we request the shape hash attribute. So we pass that as an attribute. I think it's attribute 2. And the attribute registry contract notices that this attribute is handled by the shape hash contract. And so within the shape hash contract, we receive the 3D shape as input, and we hash it, and we store that somewhere associated with the token ID. And so then on chain, if you want to recover the shape hash of that briq NFT, you can just call the shape hash contract, ask it for the shape hash of the fa NFT, and it will give you the correct data. And so using that, you can, for example, recover the full 3D shape if you pass that as cold data in the future, or just do operations on the hash, or check that it matches, that is identical to another NFT, or things like that. But you can also do fancier things. So the way the attributes registry works is that it has collections which can have several distinct attributes. So the terminology is kind of custom, but basically the collections are more like the traits. So let's say you have hair type, that's a collection that can have different values. So blue hair, green hair, red hair, those would be what we call the attributes. And so each collection can exist in two modes. One is a simple token mode. So basically you have a collection, you have attributes in that collection, and the owner of the collection can just grant the attribute manually. So that allows you to do, short lists, that allows you to do custom duration of NFTs. And then you have the much more powerful mode, which is the mode that we're actually using for all of this, which is what I'm calling here the delegate mode. And everything gets proxied to a contract. So in the case of the shape hash, for example, that's the shape hash contract. And this allows basically infinite customizability because you get the full 3D shapes, you get all of the data of the NFT. And so for our initial StartNet Planet and October contracts, we're checking that you're creating the right 3D shape. We're using that system to store the 3D hash. And we could do fancier things such as check that you have a specific brick in a specific position if you want to make a game or things like that. And as I mentioned earlier, in the future, with Validium, you can store the shapes on layer 2 potentially. So we could store the 3D shapes permanently. And then we'd be able to do fancier things like change attributes after the minting step and things like that. When you're disassembling a brick NFT, you also need to pass the same attributes to clear them, obviously. So you need to know what's there on chain, and we emit events and everything when you do that. I'm going to show you a minting transaction. So question, how can you get the shape hash? Is there a tool for it? You'll just do a call on chain. I'm going to show you on StarkScan actually. This. Yeah, so if you go on the briq website, let me pull out Firefox. If you go on the briq website, you can build, you get to the builder, you can build things. In my profile, I have some already minted entities. So first, let me show you the template thing with the briqmas booklet that we airdropped for Christmas. So when you have an official set, one that comes with booklet, we have this widget on the right, and it basically checks that what you're building, it gives you the step-by-step instructions to create what you want, and it tells you if you're building the correct shape in real time and things like that. So you can see as I'm laying down bricks, it's increasing my progress bar. I'm not going to finish this one because it's kind of long. And then at the end when I've built everything, I can basically mint my NFT. And if I go on the builder and try to mint something, and I just unlock my wallet, it will show me the assemble transaction, which is very long because I have my address, the token ID hints, I have the name as a feld, I have the description as a feld, and then all of the NFT data, and that's the 3D shape data that I described in decimal format. So if you go to StarkScan and look for the briq contracts, I think they're all named. They all start with briq semicolon. You have the sets, the boxes, the token, auction contract and the booklets. If you go look to the sets and you query, let's say, the attributes of my rabbit here, I'm just going to copy the token ID. In the attribute registry. So if I put the set token ID in the total balance for the attribute registry, it's going to tell me that I have one attribute. And that attribute is going to be the shape hash. And I don't remember offhand what the shape hash attribute ID is. So I'm going to check for that on GitHub. And this is going to be the occasion to show you what the GitHub repo looks like. So this is the main branch, which is what's live at the moment. So Cairo 0 code in the contracts. We've split them by folder. Every contract is its own Cairo contract here, and it just basically pulls from the folders. And I have some of the collections here. And if you go to the next branch, you also have a source folder. And this is the ongoing rewrite to Cairo 1. Hasn't been changed for a few months because I think I need to push some code. Is also because we've been doing other things recently. Basically the same structure, but it's in Cairo 1. Let me just check the builder because I don't remember. What the name of the attribute is. Has to go in the set contract. So the shape hash is connection 2. And I don't actually have an attribute yet, so that's it. Okay. So if you go into the attributes registry contract and you can ask if a set has an attribute, so you just put the attribute ID. In this case, it's going to be 2. So it says that yes, the set token ID has the attribute for the shape hash, and I believe I can query it like that. Nope. Maybe I didn't implement that, to be honest. I don't remember if I did this or not. If not, you can just go and check the shape. The shape attributes directly. So to do that, I'm going to have to find the address. The address is no, it's actually tagged as well. I didn't pay the gas fee on that instance, but if you're on mainnet, you're paying it with ETH. If you're on testnet, you pay it with testnet ETH. Yeah, so if you're on the shape registry contract, you can just get shape hash function. You just put in the token ID, and you get the shape hash. And you can also, you have a check shape function, you put in a token ID, and you give it a 3D shape, and it's going to tell you if this is the same shape. So you can use that to check very easily to recover the call data, you just pass the 3D shape, you call this to check that it's indeed what's on chain. and you can just do whatever you want with it because you have checked that it's correct. So at the moment, the attribute registry is not permissionless. That's something that we plan to work on in the future with Sylve. But conceptually it could be, and if you deploy your own, like if you want to test it out, you can deploy your own and you can create your own collections and everything. And yeah, we have all of the briqs. We only have one material on the mainnet, but you could also have different materials and fancier things. And so since briqs are 1155, you can have unique briqs. This is where I mentioned the NFT thing. You can have, token briqs, infinite supply, things like that. So really a lot of variety. So I'm just going to post a few links that I've used here on the Meet. So this is the link to start scan the shape hash contracts that I mentioned. If you just type brick semicolon, you get most of them. If you search, you might get all of them anyways. They're all connected via, these things here. The GitHub is at briqnft/briqbuilder. That's the front end. Briq protocol is the Cairo contract, and you have to choose the next branch for the Cairo 1 code if you want to look at that. It's simplified a little bit compared to the Cairo 0. Because we're doing a few things, and one of the things we're also going to change for the Cairo 1 contracts is that we're going to make the different collections be in actual different collections. Because right now, if you go on, say, Square, so one of the NFT platforms for Startnet, and you look at the briq page, yes, you have the boxes, the booklets, and the sets. But if you look at the briq sets, you can see that once it's going to load, everything is mishmashed together. This is the duck server for today, and this is just a bunch of stuff that people have done. So if you want to just see specific collection, you have to filter on one of the collections. This is going to show you all of the ducks. You can also just filter on certain planet attributes. But the problem is that it's kind of annoying that these are all in the same collection. So we're going to split these into proper collections in the future for the rewrite, and we're going to breach things and do a bunch of fancy stuff there to make it easier for the users. That's basically all of it. I'm going to go quickly over the end of the presentation. So what's next for briq? Well, the Validium storage, as I mentioned, cheaper transactions, and it will probably allow us to store a 3D shape on chain, which is going to be great. The Cairo 1.0 rewrite, separating smart contracts for official collections and everything. And then we're going to look into integrating it with Startnet's game ecosystem, so Dojo, and with teams like Realms, Cartridge, Topars, and everything. So I'm Lancelot, aka Vaiti. I'm the CTO. You can follow me on Twitter at Vaiti. And I'm working with Sylve, who's the CEO, and he's on Twitter as well at SylveCSV, and we're at briqnft, the both of us on Twitter. If you want to, find us, we also have a Discord link to everything's linked on Twitter, so you can join the Discord and everything. And the website is briq.construction. Yep, so that's basically it from my presentation.
Thanks.
How you want to finish this up about?
Yeah, no, thanks a lot for this great overview and onboarding on what you can do with briqs and how you can leverage that OG project, because you've been here since the beginning. and that's cool as well to see that you still as well like partnership with all like with also Arjun has been as well an OG and been active as well on Oats, Darknet CC and all Darknet event. So that's cool. And yeah, Kunchiko is asking if we can get the slides. Yeah, I will make sure to find this Lancer to get the slides, share the slides. I will put them into the description of the YouTube video, which I will upload after this live. So is there any question in the chat? I know that there's a little bit delay, so we might have to wait a few seconds.
Yeah, by the way, I should mention that the briq team will be at Starknet CC and at ETH CC in Paris in July. So if you want to meet the team, you're probably going to find us in briq t-shirts over there sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have like a stand or anything, but we'll be there.
Yeah, and the briq will be there as well. The famous briq.
Oh yeah. The briq will be there. We have things planned for that. So you're going to be able to take your picture with the briq and everything.
Yeah, of course. I hope. I will get selfies, briq. Nice. Hi. So yeah, if there's no more question, I think we can wrap up, and otherwise I will leave as well contact of Lancelot in the description of the YouTube video, so if anyone have question after this call, it's still possible to reach out to him and ask anything. So thanks again, Lancelot, for hosting this interesting and helping workshop, and I wish everybody to keep pushing and the hackathon. There are 5 day left already. So thanks a lot and good luck with everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks everyone. Ciao.